Welcome to The Explainer. You know, a company's financial report, it's not just a bunch of numbers. It's a story. And today, we're going to put on our detective hats and decode one company's report to find the drama hidden in the data.
Okay, let's get right into it. And just like any good mystery, we're going to start at the end with the big reveal, the bottom line.
Whoa, okay, look at this number. In just 3 months of 2019, a textile company called Blue Blends India Limited reported a loss of nearly 31 million rupees. A number that big and that negative, well, it doesn't just happen. It's the punchline to a story, and it makes you ask one really big question.
So how on earth does a company lose that much money that fast? That's the mystery we're solving today. And the cool part is, all the clues we need, they're right there, waiting for us inside the company's financial statement for that quarter. Our investigation kicks off with the most basic idea in all of business.
Yep, the very first step in cracking this case is to look at two things: the money coming in, their income, versus the money going out, their expenses. Everything, and I mean everything, comes down to how those two things balance out.
And look, this isn't some complex financial concept. It's something we all get from our own lives. Think about your personal budget, right? What you earn versus what you spend. A company works on the exact same principle, just with way more zeros. So, let's see what that looks like for Blue Blends.
You don't even need to be a math whiz to see the problem here. Just look at the gap between these two bars. The blue one, their income, is about 45 million rupees. But that red bar, their expenses, it's just towering over it at nearly 76 million. I mean, they were spending almost twice what they were bringing in.
And there it is. That's our 31 million rupee loss we started with. It's not some big mystery anymore. It's just simple, painful math. They spent way more than they made. So that solves the what. But now we got to dig into the why.
So we know they overspent. But the big question is, on what? Where did all that cash actually go? Let's break down that big, scary red bar of expenses and see what's really going on. All right, this chart really spells it out for us. And two things just jump right off the page. Other expenses makes up over half of all their spending. But look at the second biggest piece, finance costs, at nearly 22 million rupees. That's almost a third of all their spending, and it's almost half of every single rupee they earned that quarter. That's a huge red flag.
So what exactly are finance costs? Well, simply put, it's the cost of debt, the interest payments on loans. This is a major clue for us. A massive chunk of the company's money was just going to service its debts. But hey, was this just a one-time thing? You know, a good detective always looks for a pattern.
So, was this quarter just a blip on the radar, a really bad few months? Or is this part of a much bigger, more worrying story? To figure that out, we've got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And yep, this timeline tells the whole story. Our mystery quarter in 2019, it wasn't some fluke. It was just another chapter in a long story of losses. I mean, just look back at the third quarter of 2018, a staggering loss of over 160 million rupees. This wasn't a bad quarter. This was an ongoing crisis.
Okay, so we've pieced it together. A company that's consistently overspending, with high debt, and losing money hand over fist. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter? Well, it matters because these numbers have a real-world impact on the people who actually own the company, the shareholders.
To see that impact, we look at something called earnings per share, or EPS. It's a really neat metric. It takes the company's total bottom line, profit or loss, and just divides it up among all the shares out there. Think of it as your personal slice of the company's performance.
And this is where the rubber meets the road. That 31 million rupee loss wasn't just some abstract number on a spreadsheet. No, it translated directly into a loss of 1.43 rupees for every single share. If you owned one share, you carried 1.43 rupees of that loss. If you owned 1,000, you carried 1,430 rupees. This is the real, tangible impact of the story we've uncovered.
So by following the clues in the numbers, we've pieced together this company's financial story. And understanding this stuff isn't just about looking backwards. It's about being able to ask smart questions about the future. For a company with consistent losses like this, the most important question is the one on this slide. What does the next chapter hold?